Welcome to another unboxing by theplayersaid.com. I'm Grant. Today I received another package from Turning Point Simulations. If you don't know, Turning Point Simulations is a company that does actually a lot of really cool war games, and I've been turned on to them recently because of an interview I did with Mark McLaughlin covering his game in this series called The Invincible Armada, which is about the Spanish Armada in 1588. So this series of games is based on a book by the name of, written by a gentleman by the name of Sir Edward Creasy. The book is titled 20 Decisive Battles of the World, and it looks at the 20 battles in history that the author thought really shaped the course of the world. Many of these battles go back to antiquity, as well as through modern times. So really an interesting array. There are 20 in this series with a bonus 21st. And I think I've now got 4 of these. And today, the one we're going to take a look at is the Battle of Stalingrad, which is obviously a World War II game. So without further ado, let me show you sorry for the glare there, but the Battle of Stalingrad is volume 20 in this series. And you can see, really like the art there. You can see a Russian soldier holding a PPSH submachine gun going into what appears to be the ruined city of Stalingrad. Those that don't know, the Battle of Stalingrad happened in 1942 as the Nazi war machine had decided at the behest of Hitler to invade the Soviet Union and try to conquer them. Hitler tried to do this in order to obviously get to several very key resources, the Caucasus oil fields, as well as taking out an enemy before he would want to try and deal with the West, the allies of the West. But obviously a major battle. Code names involve Operation Barbarossa, Fall Blau, and others. But the Battle of Stalingrad was a fairly lengthy battle where the Russians kind of, and I think in the on the website I kind of read where they described where an immovable object was met by an unstoppable force. The unstoppable force being the Nazi war machine, and the immovable object being the city of Stalingrad. Obviously, there was also some political reasons why Hitler wanted to take over Stalingrad, which was named for the premier of the Soviet Union, Joseph Stalin. It would have been kind of a in-your-face type moment. We took the city named for you. So we'll go ahead and move on with this. You can see there's a clear coat protected box top to this game. They're packaged very interestingly. I talked about this in the last one, but this is kind of the cover and the shield. You can see it's clear so you can see through, but the game is kind of packaged so that it looks like a novel or a book. You can see here's the spine of the game. I'm trying to push that back, but it says Stalingrad there. You can see the volume number 20, and then there is the designer, and I'm going to butcher the name obviously, but Hjalmar Gerber. So really an interesting looking game. So you can see, I'll go ahead and take that apart and lay that tray back. The bottom of the game is actually contained in a tray, and this is kind of like a book dust cover that covers the outside. Once again, there's the cover. Really a great piece of art. You can see the spine, and then this is the back of the kind of the back of this cover, and it just gives a little more detail on the battle itself. You can see the mounted map board with some of the pieces. Also, there's a little description on the battle itself. Very, very cool looking game. The map is done by Mark Mahaffey, and he has done several of the other maps in the games in the series. So they're really very well done. The artist is Terry Leeds. So he painted that painting, really nice looking ode to the battle there. I like you can see the hammer and sickle in the background and then the red sky. So we'll go ahead and try to dive into the game. So here's the rule book. You can see the rule book is fairly thin, actually. It's not really 12 pages. Here's some of the counters came out, so sorry about that. But the rule book is about 12 pages. This is the back cover. It is full gloss. It is color. As you flip through, you can see it's fairly well organized. There's some information on the markers and the different pieces and the counters that come in the game. This is a war game, so obviously it's a hex and counter war game where the pieces represent groups of men and machines ready to battle it out at the gates of Stalingrad. So really a well organized rule book. I found the rule book being for Invincible Armada, the other game that I've opened, was very easy to understand. So definitely a nice job on the rules. Here's the CRT on the back. It's hard to show. You can see there's quite a bit there. You can get a close-up of that. Interesting look. And actually, and I'll talk about this when I get a little further, I've been impressed with the counters, the quality of the counters. A lot of times small games like this, it's very hard. The counters aren't necessarily struck very cleanly or centered. But I will say that these counters have been very, very impressive, not only in their look, their thickness and durability, but also their color, their clarity of writing. And then once again, they appear to be very centered and struck very cleanly. So they come out well without tearing or doing damage to the counters. So I think that's a good thing. But there's the rules. We'll go ahead and move on to the counters. And it looks like some of these, like I said, kind of came out. But I'll probably 2 counter sheets, maybe. Let me see if I can get my hands on it. I don't know why I'm having such a problem today. But here's a counter sheet. You can see there's not a high amount of counters, fairly low density in the counters themselves, which I think is good. I actually played with Alexander the other day, No Retreat, the Russian Front, designed by Karl Paradas and published by GMT Games. And I felt like it also had low counter volume, which I'm okay with. I know there's a lot of large war games that have a lot more counters. But here, let's go ahead and give you a nice little close-up of those counters. Really beautiful. Love the deep red color. Very clear about the information that's written on them. And once again, you can see they're struck fairly well. Like that popped out really easy. I can pull an entire row out, and that's really nice because once again, from time to time, it's easy to damage counters by just taking them out. And these will need to be clipped. I really like the pre-rounded counters. They don't come often. Let that focus, sorry. I don't know why I'm having trouble focusing on the counters themselves, but there you go. You can kind of see the counters. Nice quality, very good information, clean and clear. They're also struck very well and centered, which is really nice. So I think these counters are great. There's a whole sheet, some representing the Nazis and some representing the Soviets. So you can see those are the counters. We'll go ahead and move those on over. Here are some cards. These are probably setup cards or deployment cards. German infantry display, they say, and then this one says Axis general display. I'll probably find the other cards in the bottom, but you can see there's different information written on them. There's the turn record track there at the top. You can see the campaign starts in July of 1942 and goes through January of 1943. So you can see those are pretty cool. They're fairly thick cardstock, kind of on an off-white or manila colored paper. I think they're nice. And then here's the really nice part is the mounted map board. So for a small game to have a mounted map board like this, I think that's a very cool thing. I'll go ahead and try to pull that up so you can see it. So there are some off territory boxes on the bottom. I actually watched a playthrough video by Stuka Joe. He's amazing, by the way. And he kind of went through the reasons for the different parts on the board. But really nice, very, very thick and well made. Really is a nice map. We'll go ahead and put that kind of right there so you can continue to see that. But as you can see, the bottom of the, and here's a couple dice, nice tiny little dice. You can see the bottom of the game is held inside a tray, and this is a fairly durable plastic tray, good quality, good thickness, and it's going to hold the different counters, your dice, etc. And then the game is obviously designed so that you close the board, as well as all of the cards. And then here's some of those other, here's the Soviet parts of the cards. And you put those on top and the rules, and then you close that up with the dust cover and the top shield. So kind of neat design. Really like how that has worked out. Here's the Soviet cards, Soviet units displays, lots of different things here. And these are single-sided, but they're, once again, very good quality, nice typeface, easy to read and understand. I've got that upside down, sorry. Well, I guess it's upside down on both sides, but there's the turn record track as well. So really a neat looking game. It'll be interesting to get this one to the table and check it out. But these games, I think, with Turning Point Simulations, I think they've done a really good job of putting them together and creating a very interesting looking product that is going to play well. And I'm excited to read these over and get this to the table as well. And once again, I made the comment that the rule book is a 12-page rule book. That's not a lot of length for a war game, but I think this war game is designed to play in maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours in one sitting and get the feeling for what it was to either fight for by defending or fight for by attacking the city of Stalingrad during World War II. So look for a review in the future. We'll try to get these games to the table here over the next couple of weeks. Spring break is coming up, so I'll have a little bit of time, a little bit more time to play some games. So check this out, and hopefully you like it, and we'll see you around soon. Thank you.